We're going to take a few minutes and discuss how we can have our guru help us find binomial probabilities. The example I'm working is the same as the one above in the Learn screen, where we are flipping a coin 4 times and determining the number of heads and finding the binomial probabilities associated with that. Our success here is the coin landing heads up. The number of trials we have, n, is 4 because we're flipping the coin 4 times. P is the probability of a success. And in our case, since we're looking at the probability it lands heads up, our P will be equal to 0.50. X is going to be the number of successes we would like to observe and find the probability for. And in this case, we're going to illustrate all values of X in the situation 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which corresponds to 0 heads up, 1 heads up, 2 of the flips have heads up, 3 of the 4 flips have heads up, and then 4 of the 4 flips have heads up. That was a little difficult to say, but I think you know what I mean. Okay, let's get to Rguroo and see if he can help us fill out this table here so we can have our binomial probability model. So if you get into Rguroo and you just log in, it would look something like this here. You would click on probability and simulation in the left panel. It opens up and we're given the drop down box here. If we click on it, we're going to choose probability calculator and then discrete. And that is because a binomial distribution model has a discrete random variable. So we're choosing discrete in this case. The first thing we see here are 2 separate choices here in the form of a bubble choice, and we're going to keep it where it is, where we're going to hand it random variables, the values of the random variables, and the calculator is going to give us probabilities in return. The distribution that it's set on, the default distribution, is in fact binomial, so you don't need to change that. The number of trials was our n, if you remember. Ours is 4. The probability of a success, the probability of it landing on a head on any given toss, is 0.50. That's 50%. And we have here, so that's n and p. This part right here is where we communicate what x will be. So if I click on the drop down box here, I have 5 choices. I'm going to choose equals to, because I want to see if my x is equal to 0, what would that probability be? So no heads in the 4 tosses. I'm going to click the preview button. And you can see here in this little gray bar, the probability has been given to us, 0.0625. I'm going to keep these in mind, and I'll record them in just a minute. What if x were equal to 1? We just change the one thing, everything else stays the same, and we get 0.25. So there's a 25% chance, only 1 head in 4 flips. And I can go through, and you can see every time I change my value for x, I'm getting a new probability. Change it to 3. Goes back down to 0.25. And then finally, all 4 of the flips return a head. Don't think this is going to be a very high probability. Doesn't seem quite likely that would happen. And you can see it goes back down to 0.0625. So the binomial calculator here is a wonderful place if you can identify your n, your p, and your x. Rguroo can do more of the heavy lifting and compute these probabilities for you, and it definitely can let you take a load off and relax when working these problems. I'd like to take the probabilities we just determined and put them back into this model so you can see how they all fit together. So I kind of kept up with each one. For 0 heads was this value. 0.25 or a 25% chance you would only have one head in the 4 flips. 0.375 for exactly 2 heads when you flip 4 times. And there's our last one. So this is our probability model that it does a nice job with the situation above. If you notice, if I add all of these 5 probabilities together, they will indeed sum to 1, making this our legit binomial probability model for our situation.